What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. The August edition. I jokingly was doing June, July, but truly now it seems to be a monthly podcast. Burning Red Shirt, Andrew P. Katz, myself, Chris Kay, talking most random of CFB, CFF topics. Gambling, DFS, CFF. I want to
Premium
go.
Premium got that late July version.
Yeah, premium got the late July version. Yeah. The secret pod. I want to start with gambling because I have gotten an enormous amount of DMs saying that they miss an Andrew P. Katz monologue. So let's give them what they want. Tell me about. I have to hear now through the grapevine that you're making season long bets. That's strike one, Andrew. Strike two is their overs.
Oh,
Okay, so
no.
you only have you got one more strike remaining, and then this thing is just kebabbed. Okay, so tell me about these passing overs that you're betting, and I will say I like them. I get where you're coming from, and one of them is losing, guaranteed. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. There's no way you sweep overs on passing yards.
Agreed. Although in the past I've had good fortune with like what would you call it? So the mainstream, I guess FanDuel passing props in the past. It's the past couple of years. It's kind of been the same thing. Like FanDuel exclusively releases passing season yards, does again through receiving and rushing, if my memory serves, which makes sense. There's like less variability in terms of like who's going to start and stuff like that. Less ways for them to get up. We'll say though, but in the past I've done okay, and I like either last year, I think it was 2 years ago, swept either two or three just playing passing overs, which is like of course not like my preference. Um, but yeah, there was a little bit of meat on the bone, not a ton. I mean, you can kind of get a sense when you're looking at the menu for something like that, how the structure that they're taking, if they're just going with like baseline projections or adjusting down and trying to bait people into overs. That's kind of what happened here. Still though, I played four, three of which are overs. I played Maker over 2,900, Darian Mensa over 2,800, and Maeva over, I forget what he was. He was in the 2,800 range. And now the Maker one moved from 2,900 to 3,000. That's the one that I think is kind of the scariest. Um, like if he stays healthy, it's fine. It hits, right? But I don't know. He's kind of a twig. I feel like I could see that guy missing some games. No problem. And like the way that you have to calibrate that is like, okay, how many games can a guy miss and still hit? And that's assuming that the result of him missing games when he comes back is that like he's playing at 100%, which isn't a given. Interesting about John Mateer last year, right? Missed, I think, only one game, came back, but was a shell of himself. Some of
Also,
that. Go
also
ahead.
the healthy games, he has to be like awesome. Like for
Yeah.
example, like if you gun to my head, I think he probably throws for like 3,500 yards. Like if he plays all 12,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like somewhere around there. If he misses two games, then to hit the 2,800, I mean, he's got to average 280 a game, which the system could work. And the Big 12 is nice like that. But now the margin for error is like slim.
Yes.
I will say the three with these over. I didn't know you bet an under. Mike held that one back, maybe just to make you
Well,
look
he
bad.
didn't. He wasn't down. It's just me going.
Oh, okay. We'll
Whoa.
save that.
Yeah.
Save that for a second. Uh, they make sense to me to go over because they feel like guys that are less likely to get hurt. I think in general, quarterbacks are less likely to get hurt. And then when you take away, when you just are looking at just pass only types or closer to pass only types, you feel even better about betting an over.
For sure. Um,
So which one of the three you think Mestamaker is the one that goes down?
yeah, I think that like you can just kind of shortcut Lincoln Riley QB 2,800 yards shouldn't be a problem type deal for Maeva. Like I don't think he has like there's been so much good stuff I feel like about Jonas Williams, but I don't think he's coming this year. Um, so I'm not worried about like a Caleb Williams replacing Spencer Rattler type deal. They play a lot of games that they shouldn't be able to just roll through too, and like the schedule plays out in a way where you'll probably, I assume you'll like let you'll let Maeva sling it around a bunch in the early games, but then they can't do. They're not going to be a team that's going to be able to just like coast, and the schedule really doesn't set up in a way that's going to let them just coast. So I think pretty much every week as the schedule progresses, they'll be throwing it around a bunch. Darian Mensah, I think that like it really probably just is a product of like, okay, let's just stay healthy, dude, and get there. Like I think the offense opens up more with him. I maybe it's too pie in the sky of me to think, well, they there's a reason they brought him in, and there's a reason they brought in all these weapons, and they were already kind of all set. Maybe it is just for like a playoff run, but I think there's a couple ways that this potentially explodes, though, and like he just gets there by like week 11, or something. We saw 1 year of Miami playing good defense. Is it now set in stone? And then also, we didn't even see 1 year really of Mario being buttoned up and like having the team like good to go. We saw a playoff run where they were buttoned up and good to go, but like they were still fumbling games in the middle of last year in ridiculous ways. Unfortunately, I think the defensive coordinator is a dude, Corey Heatherman. I think that dude is like he is like on that Shield Wood at Texas Tech level of like a transformative defensive coordinator, but they lost a lot on D, right? I won't pretend that like I kind of tracked incomings and outgoings, but just like someone who's like obsessed with the NFL draft, it was easy to see. So hopefully
there's a lot of hype for their defense actually improving year over year. Because I had said I have planted myself inside the enemy's, kind of like Odyssey, right? I haven't seen the movie, but I imagine it's similar. I am now inside the enemy. I am in the Establish the Run Discord, and so I am conversing with these plebes.
When is the offer coming?
We'll see about that. They haven't given me a high enough number yet. They seem to think that the defense is better. They have a couple transfers in that seem to be awesome. I don't know. I don't know anything about defense like that. So
same.
I don't know. I think the stuff is fine. Like the Miami stuff, you would get concerned if they just go so run heavy, but I don't know. That doesn't feel that likely with Malachi Toney and Cooper Barkate. So, who is the under that Mike disagrees on? Mike Bainbridge from the CFF
he has to
side.
disagree. It's just, but like,
well, he didn't bet it.
But like disagreeing, I look at that.
He would
like,
go.
Okay, I'm betting the other way. But so again, FanDuel very much set up all their props on the lower end to make people take overs. But still, I took Bear Bachmeier under passing.
Wait.
What number would you need to bet under on him?
Well, let's do this. Let's go to the formula. Let me look at our projections have him at basically 201 a game. So what is that, like 2,400? 2,412 yards.
Yeah.
I would want it to be 2,550.
Why do you need a higher number when your baseline projection is 2,400? Wouldn't it be the opposite?
I worry that they're just like like big play type, like that they could just get a bunch of big plays in the passing game because they are so run heavy.
That is very much, at least for I would say the first 2/3 of last year, that was their passing offense. It felt like as the season progressed, though, they definitely did start to let Bear play actual quarterback a little more and like go through progressions a little more, and the guy definitely developed throughout the year. But I think that still he's not he still has more development to do to be like a true with respect to his passing ability. They lost, like, losing Kingston and Roberts is a lot. And Carson Ryan, obviously, like they now have two like very solid tight ends, but there's projection there, and then there's tons of projection on the receivers, right? So I think there's like a lot of skepticism with respect to the passing game. Bear is a tank, obviously, but like tanks can get hurt. He runs the ball a lot, so you've got missed game potential. And then I think just in general, things will skew run heavy for them, given like how the structure of the skill and the skill positions, the experience, where the talent is and whatnot. But I got 26-25 It's down to 25.75. I
Hashtag
think
mover.
what's that?
I said hashtag mover. I think
Just a
you.
tad though.
That's a.
I think it's fine though.
I think it's fine. I feel.
Yeah.
Obviously, I said 25.50. They did not really throw much at all in the first month of the season last year.
Yeah.
The nice thing is you still have that Utah Tech game at the beginning, so you would think, like kind of like last year, Portland State, where he just had 3 touchdowns on 7 completions. Like I could see that happening again, and they love the heck out of LJ Martin, so I could see them just making sure that he starts his season on a good note. But I don't know. It is a little bit of a tight number just in general because he ended
Yeah, it's
at
not a
26.
banger.
He ended at 2,600 essentially, like 2580 or 2590, something like that last year.
Well,
So
it's
very
13
close.
games.
Well, no, I took away the 2 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He had over 3,000 in full.
Got it.
But I mean, he had so many 100-yard games, like maybe 6 or 7 different games where he went under 200 yards. So, I mean, he's not a
I
passer.
remember. I feel like I bet his passing prop every week, and it probably came out ahead. But like I bet under in the West Virginia game, and he was at like 300 yards in the first half. So that was fun.
You know what? Hey, he either was going to be a winner on the under, or you were going to lose the under by 150 yards, and that's totally fine. So those are the main bets that you've gotten recently.
Yes, I'm trying to think.
You waiting on Isaac Brown numbers right now?
Dude, so I don't have like I don't want to hit you up and be like, hey, let's figure out a parlay on for a season long prop. It just seems so ridiculous. The idea of like it's hard enough to find like one absolute banger, right? But I don't know. I'd rather use my equity and my outs that aren't in my own name on like things that are true bangers. Like yes, if we get something that's like totally insane, I'm gonna bang down your door and be like, hey, let's jam 10 parlays in with this one leg as the anchor for all of them. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like we're quite there.
The Underdog stuff has been very competitive. They had a couple lines that were not good, but when you get to parlay it, you just don't feel great about. I have some, but I had like boosts and stuff that made it a little bit more tantalizing.
Yeah.
Plus, like obviously, I have to have something in the
legals. Legals so far, all we have is the passing props, and Bet Rivers Bet Rivers has been like our. They put out the most stuff every year over year, but they just released their first batch, and it was a straight copy paste of FanDuel, which is not inspiring. Because I would like to see some running backs and receivers over there.
Let's talk Isaac Brown. I had mentioned him.
Yeah.
Jeff Brown seems very disappointed in the situation based off the quote or the conversation. How much stock are you putting in this? Like, should we be drafting Keywan? Like, should we be very aggressive on Keywan Brown and Underdog and Fantrax drafts? Like, where's your head at when it comes to that situation?
It's definitely a little scary. Like, I asked my buddy this through a different lens, but like I don't understand what happens between the end of spring and beginning of fall. That like there's differences in depth charts and like guys show up hurt. Like what are people doing? Like what did he possibly do to get hurt in the summer?
Well, I imagine they're doing 7-on-7 type stuff like without coaches there. They're probably doing reps and drills and things like that, and just the coach is like a mile away with binoculars on. Like they're not just not doing stuff. So it is kind of funny though that they spend all season getting hit and stuff and they're fine, and not Isaac Brown but in general players, and then all of a sudden they're doing random drills and they get hurt. But it is kind of a funny thing to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like pretty stoked to draft Isaac in like the 11 to 15 range, but now I'll like pause and wait and see. And I had been taking a little bit of Keywan, but now maybe I'll take a little more type deal. I don't know if I'll straight panic. Like if all that you really want and need is like if Isaac's healthy for the playoff run in Underdog, like who else would you rather have?
I mean, he's a legit 8-yard per carry guy. Like
who? No, if he ever gets like 20 touches in a game, like whose 20 touches would you rather have?
Probably nobody. Like he's like at least he's in the conversation of it. Like he's extremely efficient. And the playoff matchups are UNC, Pittsburgh, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am pausing Isaac Brown, and I'm definitely drafting Kewan Brown a little bit more aggressively. I mean, at the end of the day, he has value even if Isaac Brown is fine, and so that's why I don't mind drafting up a couple rounds there. What
Sure.
about the other running back situation, non-injury related, but Isaiah West was
So that
working
was
first team.
what I was referencing. What happened over the summer that that like all of a sudden this dude like pops up getting first team all the first team reps.
Is it a
You know,
motivational thing?
who I don't know. So they both missed the spring, right? West and Bo Jackson. So the question now becomes like, what happens on day two? Is it like a flip the script type deal? Like how could I don't understand how I read I feel like read like four different things and like there was a lot, like lots of questions like did Isaac West or whatever his name is just put in like a ton of work over the summer and he's getting rewarded for it now type deal. I don't know. I like it, I just want to understand like what can happen in the summer to influence something like this. It just doesn't make sense.
Are you? I am considering it almost a nothing burger. Like I just at this
But
point, it's Bo Jackson. He
I
led
think
the team in rushing like every game almost, and he barely played at the very beginning of the season. Like I just can't imagine them putting him in the back seat.
why are you being so sober about this though? Isn't weren't you and Mike both maybe it was more so Mike, but like weren't you guys like very anti Bo Jackson?
I'm fairly in on Bo Jackson.
Oh yeah, I have too much. Not like a ton, but like
I mean, I
now
don't have a ton of them on Underdog just because of like where the like his ADP and stuff. But like
yeah,
I'm like 7-8%, so like I'm right on par.
gotcha.
I just like the
Um,
quarterbacks at the end of the second round probably
Interesting.
more than Bo Jackson. I'm like very quarterback. I'm a QB whore in this
Yeah,
Underdog
you're
stuff.
hanging out with the ETR guys.
No, no, no. The
What
ETR guys give me hell all the time about quarterbacks. We have different memories on 2024. But uh the other one here, you've been following UCLA at all?
I saw that Anthony Woods is taking RB1 stuff and Wayne Knight is hurt, right?
Yeah, he's like still hurt.
Yeah.
What did he do to himself? I don't love this. Our rankings at Campus to Canton were basically not nuking Wayne Knight, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
basically undraftable at this point. And I think Anthony Woods is interesting at the end of drafts for sure.
Where on Underdog, where would you start drafting Wayne Knight?
I don't know, probably like 15th ish round. There's like
Yeah.
a fall off of like it when we hit the Jeremiah Cobb, Dawson Pendergrass ADP level. That section is just a bunch of random guys. And I was talking to Heath about this on Discord yesterday. Like there are like once you get to like pick 180, you could take anybody because
Yeah.
that guy is stalking my drafts. By the way, he messaged me like, "Why? What's the deal with you taking so and so?" and like screenshotted that CFBbasketball.com.
What
And
is that? Should I
it's
be looking at that?
you should look at that. Yeah, you can import like your drafts and stuff, and it'll tell you like different data points. It's kind of interesting.
Does it have you like all the data?
It has all the data from the drafts that you import, and then like the current ADPs of players and stuff like that.
Got it. So, but it doesn't have. You know how some I don't understand how this works, but like there's NFL versions of this that have all the data from like the big
Because I
three,
think the DraftKings and Underdog are like providing it to them.
which is kind of gross. But this is not that. This is a tool at like a personal level.
A
It's all
guy, a random guy in the ETR Discord just made it. I'm guessing he used Claude and made it,
yeah.
and it actually provides some pretty interesting and kind of cool outputs like game stacks and like there's an extension that shows you like schedules and your ownership and stuff. It doesn't keep track of your like you have to like sync your teams that are partially finished, but it doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe I'm not using it right. It doesn't work
You
like
know he's taking all that data when you upload it and like aggregating it and not exposing it and only keeping it for himself and stuff.
I'm not concerned about my drafts like that. My drafts are going to tank for other reasons, I'm sure.
True. I agree with you that there's that, and I heard when you were talking to Sean as well. That was a good pod. The one with my bestie one with when you guys brought him on. The idea that there's like this cliff where you can just start taking whoever. I agree. It's around that same point, like around 15, 16. It's like, all right, if there's a like, I can just do whatever I want here, type deal, and not really concerned about like what I'm doing the next pick or really strategy.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I'm not going to just take a bad player just because the ADP is there, and there's just so many bad options. Like you have
Right.
all the guys that are like falling, like Chris Henry. Like it just is going to take him forever to get out of the picture, and so he just like lingers in front of you. Like Eric Singleton just lingers in there for the time being.
Not a Chris Henry believer.
Not a Chris Henry believer. Nope,
I think
shockingly.
I haven't drafted him at all, but I'd rather have him than McEwen. I think it's just gonna play
I
out.
just wouldn't take either of them to be
Yeah.
quiet. Yeah. What's a like a battle or a news item that you've seen that you find interesting?
How are we when we say interesting? I mean, it. I feel like I should have picked up on. Maybe I shouldn't be drafting Cutter Boley based on how he
Mm.
looks. Like that dude looks like a stoner, and he does not take anything seriously. Maybe that relates to his football because it seems like it's playing out that way in the practice field. These first couple practices, he's just turning the ball over left and right. Doesn't seem buttoned up. Granted, it's day 2 and whatnot. Caveats, if you will. Whatever. He's the highest paid guy on the team, but like he I had / have similar feelings about Jackson Arnold. Like I'll never be able to take that dude seriously with that stupid goatee he has. It just like it doesn't seem like you're a serious person. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I I thought I could kind of use a shortcut of, well, Dillingham is calling plays this year. Kenny can turn anyone into a QB that is useful in fantasy, and this guy's going to be QB1, but now I think I have to stop drafting him.
Yeah, for the time being, I have enough Cutter Bowley where I don't need to be drafting more of them in this
Yeah,
time
yeah,
of.
yeah.
Is it a bigger indictment on Kenny Dillingham, Cutter Bowley, or Mikey Keene? For those that are unaware, Mikey Keene is getting first team reps and like also comes from like maybe the worst like super positive propaganda machine of the beat reporters, which is Arizona State. They think he's awesome. Like, so are you more thinking like, man, Cutter Bowley is like that bad, or Kenny Dillingham has lost his touch, or it took 6 years for Mikey Keene to find it?
Dude, there's a lot to unpack from what you just said. So the plan of early rep distribution being one QB gets first team reps day 1, then they flip, and the other one does day 2. That doesn't concern me. It's the way that like he's just like Bully's just seemed absolutely awful the first couple of days, plus the way he looks.
Plus the way he looks.
The way he keeps himself.
You would have never survived down here in Georgia, by the way. You would have hated everybody that I went to high school with.
Well, I mean, I just think about it differently in terms of like NCAA Division 1 quarterback versus. I mean, if you saw pictures of me, I wanted to be the biggest stoner ever as a kid. I just wasn't allowed to smoke weed or like was overprotected by my parents, if you will. But anyway, so that doesn't concern me. The rep distribution does not concern me. It's just the way it's kind of playing out. But again, it's day 2. I do think that like Dillingham clearly leveraged his way into like a huge amount of money via the Michigan contract stuff in terms of what he could spend this year. And I think he kind of effed it up, like in terms of prioritizing the like receivers and throwing so much money at receivers, and like maybe should have saved a couple million more for QB. Like you paid 2.5 to Bully, probably should have paid 5.5 for like a better QB. The Arizona State beat writer stuff you mentioned, dude. So I'll listen to whatever in terms of like criticism of like homerism or whatever. But the 247 guy is like, that dude is like a real journalist, Chris Carmen. Like he absolutely crushes. Like that dude has made me so much money over the last couple of years when it comes to like being really early on injury and depth chart stuff, and just not just being early on it, but like being extremely measured and professional, but also being like not just waiting until there's an answer, but giving very measured periodic updates on the progression of these things. And that board, if you ever go to the 247 Arizona State board, like the Devil Sanctuary one, these people are psychopaths. Like they are all like crazy conspiracy theorists and just like ravenous fans, and they like I don't know how. And then you've got them chomping at the bit, like going nuts when it comes to like Levitt being hurt or Tyson being hurt and wanting like and like I don't know how this guy survives being a real journalist in this arena, but he does a remarkable job. So he crushes it. But like across the greater Arizona State coverage sphere or whatever, like yeah, maybe there's like some homerism or whatever. It's fine.
I will say they have had some of the most unique, like profitable prop type stuff happen in the last couple of years, with like Tyson being such a heavy target share guy, with Levitt getting hurt, and the alternative is Jeff Sims, who is not a passer. Like it got his, and he ended like such a star. It was like kind of crazy. It was like a perfect storm of stuff that happened to like allow that to be. My conspiracy theory take is that Cutter Boley was great in the spring. He earned the job, won the job, and then he dicked around all summer. And now Dillingham is punishing him by making him be second string for like a week. What do you think? It's simple. Maybe. It's a simple conspiracy.
I feel like I read that he had turnover problems in the spring too. And again, they're rotating through the first 2 days. Boley got started with the ones and Keene with the twos, and then they flipped. That I take nothing from it. Like that is just very traditional. Like we're gonna keep these guys, make them earn it type deal, and like don't want anyone like just walking with their head down and walking out early type thing. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It's possible that Kenny Dillingham has gone like Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell heat check on us, where he just thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he makes the decision to go Cutter Boley, and then he just whiffs for a year or two on it. That's a throw. Lions. That's for Mike right there. What about this Alabama quarterback situation? Do you actually the beat guy literally said yesterday that he thinks it's Austin Mack?
Yeah, I sent that one to our boy CFF DFS so he would post it so that maybe we can get some cheaper Keelan. So doing the Lord's work.
That is not surprising, and honestly, I'm kind of upset that I had not thought about that yet.
Come on, always a step ahead.
Always a step ahead.
Yeah, I remain resolute that it's Keelan.
I'm worried. I have a lot of Keelan already.
Yeah, same.
Are you pumping the brakes?
No. Full steam ahead. Hopefully
never stop.
Cheaper, but the cheapest I've ever gotten him, I think, is like late 6 though. It's like it would be amazing to start getting some 7, but I don't think it happens.
Yeah,
for a little bit at least. I could see DeBoer dragging this thing out though, and then and I would be cool even if like we start to get the sense that realistically / it's gonna happen that Max starts the season. I'll keep drafting Keelan. I think he's he's inevitable and he's gonna crush once he gets it.
Does it help you feel better about it because you know that like if once he does take over the job, it's like when it matters, like it's the second half of the season, it's the playoffs. It's like how you convince yourself it's okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask you about something else and it dropped. What about Duke? You think Walker Eget gets the job or Dan Mahane?
Dude, so I've been meaning to research the other kid because that feels like a stone that I shouldn't leave unturned because I've done that in the past. And like not looked enough into some of these QB situations where it's got like a legacy pretty good system. We think that like the QBs are kind of mad though, and then like something like a guy emerges like maybe it would have been a good idea to look a little more into JKS last year type deal. I feel like in the back of my head, I feel like I remember hearing some interesting things about the guy who Eget is battling, but
Dan Mahane.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him.
From what I gather, he's a rushing threat. He's not necessarily a passing. He's not like Eget. That's just from like my limited research. He's a runner. He's a redshirt freshman. I kind of like think about him, whether right or wrong, as like a very young Riley Leonard.
That's interesting.
Where like, I mean, he can technically throw it forward, but I think his value is on the ground.
Did we know that? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think for me, I'm like, man, I want it to be Egit because I do think the passing game will be enough there, and I think there's like Hasley feels cool at tight end, and
Yes.
Richardson at receiver could be good just because of volume, and he's so cheap. But I also think that Nate Shepard explodes if it's Walker Egit because their running back room is thinner. Thank God, Anderson Castle's gone. You know, he had like 12 rushing touchdowns on 100 attempts, like absurd amounts.
Yeah.
And I think the offense would be fine enough. If it's Mahan, I think there's the risk of like Riley Leonard running it 10 to 15 times in. And then you just have to hope the offense is like really, really good to help make up for it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, did we know that Egit tore his ACL? I remember listening to summer school. I was like, really? Was this is this breaking news? Because apparently, like that's what he's coming back from.
I didn't know it was that. I knew he was recovering from an injury that was like somewhat serious because he was out like a long time. Like like it was the fact that he like basically got healthy right before spring. My favorite thing right now is RotoWire posting like Arch Manning partaking in fall practice, and I'm like, why wouldn't he be partaking? Like, I didn't realize he wasn't healthy and cleared for fall. Like, what's the deal? Where did this come from? You have to watch out. I said this on Ball with My Bestie. You have to watch out. They are posting weird stuff. They're not like actually listening to the video or reading the article.
No,
It feels
there's
like
definitely some AI/aggregation stuff going on there that is like not entirely contextually accurate. Like their Waymon Jordan post was similar.
Yeah, that's the one that I specifically am like, they never said that because I listened to it and I wasn't fully paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a second, they never said anything about it. And I rewatched it. I'm like, they never said that. But it does make for interesting stuff to follow. Your boy Caden Veltkamp cleared amongst the many other options.
Very nice.
I mean, he's not on Underdog, but are you in on him on Fantrax?
I don't think I've drafted him at all yet. No really good reason, I guess. I don't know. I really just enjoy my QB1 on Fantrax being Zarka. So I just
love Zarka. Big Zarka guy.
Yeah. I am concerned that could end up looking really dumb. Well,
when hasn't
really dumb,
when has an Air Force option really ever hurt us? They always pan out correctly.
Yeah, but like for him to hit his true ceiling, I think you need the defense to continue to be trash, and which lends itself to them letting him run the offense the way he did last year, where it was like it was an amazing split of like air raid and option that they could pivot between every single play. Air raid's not the right term, but just like 5 wide versus option type deal. Like I wonder if they like didn't like that the way that the games played out last year, because they didn't result in wins and try and lean more into just traditional option routes, which would suck. But even still, like then maybe it just looks like Blake Horvath a little bit, right? Which was still like a very good QB.
By the way, I was being sarcastic. Air Force has hurt us every single year for as long as I can remember. Does it upset you that I have more shares of Zarka than you on Champ Series?
Did you just count?
I just counted.
Did you count my newest one?
Yeah, I'm kidding. We both have 4. I was hoping that I'd have more, but I had to lie about it. So I have 4. You have the tiebreaker because you got them on the full FBS.
Well, there's one more
CFF
champions
side.
to go.
There's one more. I'll take them in the first. I'm like Telly Johnson over here. Mike is not getting Telly Johnson. I don't care where I have to pick him. He is not getting Telly Johnson.
The Telly Sarka 1-2 wheel.
I need to. I forgot I took, like we had discussed internally. I should have taken Telly Johnson in the second round just to be able to say that I did it. I was more in on him than Mike, who would not take him in the second round. Is what I should have done. Dang, what a missed opportunity. Do you actually think Alex Orgy could win? You mentioned Jackson Arnold. Do you actually think Alex Orgy could win that job, or is he just like the practice king?
So apparently, I was looking at like game logs, and I think I'm my memory of how last season played out is a little different than reality. Like I didn't realize Orgy got into at least 2 games before he ripped his leg up. I thought it was week 0 that it happened, but I guess it was week 1. But my recollection, I thought he started week 0 or week 1, but like the game logs don't really bear it out. I guess I could go back and look at the play-by-play. I think it's non-zero though. I keep drafting the true freshman too. Maybe even if he's not for this year. It's just sounded like there's promising things for Derek Garcia, maybe as a Mullen QB in the future. And he's super cheap, so let's go. Clearly Jackson Arnold stock is taking hit. Like I would never be like so all the way out on a Dan Mullen QB just because he's like gotten a top like an insane season out of Nick Fitzgerald before. So like the man is a miracle worker. It's I do wonder though what it'll look like in terms of snap share and stuff like that. I'm sure I feel pretty good that like at minimum, at least initially, Arnold is getting the majority of the snaps, but I wonder how much Orgy sees.
He must be
once the bullets start flying. What does it actually look like with Arnold?
Yeah. Well, I think Anthony Calandria showed more before going to UNLV than Jackson Arnold did, right? So like
a real quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, well, he made Calandria great. Well, not really. Like, yes, but like he already had like he was already closer to great than Arnold was.
Yeah.
Which of these random running backs, young guys, is going to be more impactful this year? Usman Chroma or EJ Crowell from Bama?
I've drafted more Crowell. I guess I gotta say it the Southern way, right? Up here we would say Crowell. Is that not acceptable?
That can't possibly be accepted.
All right. I've drafted more Crowell to date, but I don't know. I feel like I should start taking some more Chroma, even though I was like 70% Chroma last year, and that worked out great.
That worked out really well, yeah.
There were so many ways it could have gone well. It just never really panned out. But I don't know. I feel like I should draft some more just in case this year. But I do. I will continue to draft Crowell. Like one of the ways that it plays out, right, is I don't think he's gonna do much at the start of the year. But I also like, even though there's been like some positive stuff on Daniel Hill recently, like all these guys fucking blow, dude. That are not Crowell. Like we've seen them. We've seen enough. So it feels like a sooner than later situation. And he could also be that guy that I'll come back to this point in a second, but he could be that guy that unlike most of the SEC guys who play a week 12 FCS team, he could like blow up. And like maybe that is like his coming out party, and then he really goes then he takes it forward into week 13 too against Auburn.
You talking Crowell there?
Yeah, depending on like what his trajectory is, like maybe it plays out that way where like the first half of the year he's only getting like somewhere between like 2 to 8 to 10 touches, but then like he just starts ascending as we get into the playoffs, and then like just goes nuts in FCS game, and then he's like, okay, he's the man for Auburn, and that's all you wanted from the beginning anyway, right?
Yeah, I think real quick, for me, I'm trying to grasp and really dive into the idea that like in the first 4 weeks, I really shouldn't need my 7th running back or my 6th running back.
I agree.
And so like, why not take a guy that could earn the spot over time and be worthy of like a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick if you were to like on a week by week basis by the end of it. And I think that's like, I think both of them kind of fit that. A little bit less on Chroma than Crowell, but I actually have like 10% Chroma. The Trey Wisner stuff's interesting. I think Chroma is the best guy there. And he's just like cheap enough and in the spot where running backs are kind of sketchy anyway. So that's kind of the route I've been going there.
Yeah, I'm going to start taking more. Do you do anything where you build? I did this last year across the entire schedule, but this year I scaled it back to just playoffs where I basically just, it's not gospel or anything, but try to look and see by position how teams defend those positions and rank and order them or whatever.
No.
And well, I did it last year, like manually downloading shit from Fantrax and like aggregating and like having to like do all this sorting and updating for like transfers and like killing things or killing rows that were not irrelevant. And then this year now, I just I just tell Cursor AI like, hey, go grab all the ESPN stuff from the API, filter out or anything that's not Power 4, and then do all this stuff. And I was looking at it, and I did just for playoff schedules, and was looking at my results. I was like, and I gave it, so I've got just like rankings of like 1 through 68 for like how teams defend the different positions based on Power 4 plus Notre Dame. And then I was looking at it, and I gave a what would you call it, a constant for any FCS team of a 70. So like when I look at how Bama's FCS opponent depends the running backs, they're like the 70th best. Makes sense. For that week 12. And I was looking at, I was like, this is dumb. I need to give it a constant of like 30 instead, because these guys are only going to play a half, so they're only going to put up like fantasy points half. So like when I'm looking at schedule difficulty for running backs for Bama relative to all these other teams, like I don't think I should be giving it like the most likely to give up like the most points type deal. It's like somewhere in the middle, probably skewing toward harder because the guy's only playing at most a half.
Yeah, the touches will be less. Like you're more likely to have like a random third receiver score a long touchdown. Like it's kind of like Kewan Lacey last year against Charleston Southern, where he didn't like his production wasn't great, except he just had 3 touchdowns. Like he wasn't really great on the ground. It just was like, oh, he got the touchdowns, which is kind of, I mean, obviously.
But that was like, what was that? That was like an early season game, right?
No, that was the end of the season. There was an end of season one there.
I thought he had a bye the week before the championship.
Well, it wasn't. Well, I didn't say it was the bye week or deep in there, but yeah, it was Citadel on 11-8. He went 11 for 49 and 3 touchdowns.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All the SEC week. My memory is last year, every single SEC versus FCS semifinals player was terrible. I don't think any of them blew up or were like actually like beneficial for you if you had them on your roster. Have you guys talked about that at all on Balling with My Bestie?
We in the past we're just not really considering it like anything that awesome. Like Cam Coleman, I think went off, but I don't think he. No. Well, 5 for 65 and a touchdown. They're really. You're right. That was the Deuce Night game. Remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think it's like you said, like it almost feels like you just better be the guy that gets the big game, like quickly get the touchdowns, because it could be real bad real quick. Malcolm Simmons had the big game there, 5 for 149 and 1. You're more likely to have like want the second or third option, because it's like, all right, I'm not paying as much, and like he has just as good a shot as going crazy. But yeah, we're not necessarily targeting that.
I wonder what Camario is going to do that week. He could just not play because he's so banged up from running it 30 times a game.
They could just take it easy, let him pump the brakes.
It could be, or it could be incredible. I mean, it could be like everything is open.
There are, every option's available there. They got, obviously the Egg Bowl. I really like attacking the Egg Bowl and for the championship. For one, Black Friday, and 2, it just feels like a really high scoring game. No brainer. Any players or teams, coaches, thoughts here before we wrap?
Do you ever find yourself picking between Jaden Scott, Jordan Davison, and Waymond? Or are you just avoiding them all?
It's almost always Duke Scott.
Yeah.
You're not in on Duke Scott?
He's fine. I like the other guys a little more, but I
like Waymond too. I got a bunch of Waymond as well, but Duke Scott's the guy I would want there.
You're not scared about Will Wilson?
No, it's not great. I don't love it, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I think that's more impactful to CJ Bailey probably, but it's not great for Scott. But I think he's fine. I just think he's going to get so many touches, and he's a good running back. And they gave him the Jalen Samuels number. You can't ignore that.
I guess that I looked back at some of the production relative to that number. It's pretty worthless. It's not an indicator, but like the last guy to have it was a receiver who had like 300 yards.
Well, he's like the first offensive player in a bunch of years. I think he's the first offensive player since Jalen Samuels. I think that was the quote.
No, it's a receiver. I forget his name.
Let's see if I can quickly Google that. AI, Gemini can give me that. Well, there hasn't been, unless it was like 2023, 2024, maybe.
Earlier. It was defense for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of defensive players before that.
Yeah, I don't hate Scott though. I am trying to get more of him, but like that is generally where I'm always like, if I have like an early 6th round pick, I'm usually like, oh, Keelan's there, let's do that type deal. But I would like to get a little more Duke Scott.
What is there any chance that Will Wilson just like doesn't do what he did last year? It is, by the way, it is a little bit skewed. He had 10 rushing touchdowns, but 4 of them came in that one UNC game. So it is possible that like,
okay,
it maybe he just doesn't do. I mean, like if you look at all of his games, he really only had he had essentially 2 attempts for the first like 8 weeks per game. Then he had 4 against Georgia Tech, 9 against FSU, 12 against UNC, and then 4 in the bowl game against Memphis.
Yeah. So the way it would play out is like something goes wrong. I would say outside looking in though, it is like very much they are building the game plan with that to be a part of it based on everything I've read. But like anything could happen, right? You can get hurt. Like I think if it just doesn't work a bunch of times, you go away from it type deal.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
I mean, he is a second-year guy now. They kind of know what's going to happen, right? Like defenses know that like when he comes in, this is. I mean, they did last year too, but like he has 5 career attempts. One of those is an interception against Campbell. Like, come on, like he probably is a nothing, absolutely nothing from a passing angle.
Who actually it's not a fun question because the answer is kind of obvious, but it was gonna be like, who would be more interesting if they became QB1, Bert Ficklin or Will Wilson?
It's obviously Bird Ficklin.
Yeah. Obviously Bird, even though he can't throw, but neither can Will. But both would be interesting experiences.
Man, I really hope Bird the best, just like with Will Wilson. I hope he gets some Rhodes scholarship and quits halfway through the season because I have so much Dampier.
Guy?
I have so much Dampier, yeah. I shouldn't say that. I don't have a ton of. I have 17%, but like we're talking first rounder.
Out of principle, just stubbornness and strong-headedness. I'll never draft him.
Because you're a Ficklin guy.
No, I just like we know going in he's going to lose snap share. Like their offense is transitioning to an OC that like chucks the ball around. He threw it a little better than I expected last year, but like his strength still is not throwing the ball. And like they got, I guess I shouldn't say he's made of glass, but like there's a pretty decent likelihood he's going to get banged up pretty quickly. He definitely proved me wrong last year, though. He fared way better than I expected at the P4 level.
Don't love the coordinator change, and just in principle. But McGiven at Utah State hammered the crap out of Bryson Barnes on the ground.
Yeah.
And how much percentage? I've looked this up before. How much percentage of snaps do you think Bird Ficklin played last year? Now remember, Dampier missed a game, so I mean, Bird played that game.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a lot. What, like 4%?
He played 20% of snaps last year.
Really? I didn't realize it was that high. They were on the field at the same time for some of that, right?
I would imagine. I didn't look at like the per game type stuff, but I have like that would be really drilled down into it. But 20% of snaps. Now, if they play 70 snaps, if you take away that game, they probably are like 120 snaps out of like 800 or so. So if you took away the game that Dampier was out, so I just think that Dampier already did it with Ficklin kind of breathing down his neck already.
Yeah.
And the coordinator stuff is good enough. It's good enough. It's not back, obviously.
By the way, you know who the player prop is, where that is the argument for that, trying to talk yourself into the under for them, right? You guys talked about it on Balling My Bestie.
You have to remind me.
I need like another, I think I need like, I don't know, 100, 150 yards to take Weigman under because I think Keyshawn is like a real like thing. I draft some Keyshawn on Underdog. I think
that's such a waste. Come on, man.
Not, dude.
That's such a like, shiny toy campus to can thing. Come on. That's a campus to can't move.
Not at all, dude. I think it looks very like I was gonna save this for like a take purge right before the season type thing. I think it is very much gonna look like Demon Williams and Will Rogers. where Keyshawn gets multiple at least one series, probably multiple every single week, type deal. And if / when they fall out of playoff contention, which like is very extremely realistic in my opinion, because they play, I believe, the four toughest. I might be making this up, so you can check me if you want. I think they play the four toughest Big 12 teams other than themselves on the road. And most of them are like fairly early in the season, early mid, like not playoff. Could be, but I could be wrong about that. But so like, what happens when you fall out of playoff contention? You have the like number 1 or number 2 recruit in country at the University of Houston. Like clearly, in my estimation, like you can't just like tell this guy like, hey, it's next year, man. Like it's going to be this year to some degree. To what degree? And I think the way that degree looks is early to mid-season. It's a series to 2 series to 3 series, and then the final week or 2 of the season, it's like you put Connor Weigman out to pasture if he hasn't gotten hurt like he has 3 of his first 4 seasons, and you just say you give Keyshawn the keys to the car. And in championship week against Baylor, you let him go throw for 390 and run for 125, and I win all the money.
I mean, if you want to go that route, sure. Do you remember? I think people forget, like Damon Williams played, but he didn't really do a whole lot until the very end of the season, like the final month.
What do you mean he didn't do a whole lot? He was getting series every single week.
Okay, so he had 3 rushing attempts in essentially every game.
He was getting real series. Like it wasn't just put in for like running packages.
I'm not worried about Connor Weigman losing 7 snaps to.
So that is the thing though. Like from like a passing under perspective, that angle is like
right. If you want to,
yeah.
Yes, if you want to, like, I'm thinking about from an underdog angle. I'm not worried about from it. Obviously, if you're betting like an under on pass yards, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. The underdog angle though is where I think once they fall out of playoff contention, like what's the point in keeping Weigman around?
That's pretty deep into the season. So they play at Texas Tech in the 3rd game, but at Kansas State in the 6th game, at Utah in the 8th game.
3 losses.
I'm not going to give them. Kansas State's not an auto loss. I'm sorry. Kansas State has to do something before I'm going to consider that an auto loss. But here's the problem. If you're wrong big time, because it's Colorado, West Virginia, and Baylor in the playoffs.
I would like to wind up with between 5 and 10% Keyshawn in the circumstances where, like, if I'm going QB 3 times in like the first 6 rounds, I probably want Keyshawn at the end of that draft as my QB 5 or 4.
Weigman was like, Weigman was great on the ground last year. So the only reason you would play Keyshawn is to make a recruit happy, which I don't know. It kind of feels like that conversation was had in the offseason, right?
You sound like a man who does not have 0% Weigman.
I do not have 0% Weigman. I have, let's see, it's not like an egregious amount. It's 14%. Well, it's probably a little bit less than that because I have so many going and I don't have a ton of them. So it's probably like 10%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not going to, it's just hard to, I get the narrative, but that just feels way more narrative than it's a push. It feels a little bit pushy to get to.
Can't you just do the,
like if Weigman was bad, I would say I can get behind him more, but like you need them to lose all 3 of those games and the coach to say, I don't really care about the record and whatever appearance to continue momentum. And then also Keyshawn also has to play and play well for it to actually matter for you, an underdog. What's to say that he's just not all that great? I mean, he's a true freshman.
It's possible. I
think different strokes, different folks. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you going that. I'm not surprised by that angle. This is a Adrian Piquet special. Yeah. I just personally cannot get behind it.
Yeah, I think it's different than, like, for instance, Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell last year, which is like, I think a way you could think of it from like a comparison perspective, like top quarterback recruit in the country, right? Ultra talented, dual threat type deal. Like there's some parallels, but like differences that I think are favorable here. Houston likely not playoff contender. You're Houston, dude. You cannot lose this kid. So like it is very advantageous to you to give him to like get him on the field not only early and representatively, which like they've pretty much said they're going to get him on the field. Like he's going to play a part in the season and like get real reps. But I think like you want that season, you want the season. It is very advantageous for you to end the season where he has a good taste in his mouth and just like is feeling positively going into the next year.
You know what would make him really feel positive about going into the next year? A couple $1,000,000, which I think will help him forget about missing a few snaps.
Anyone can and will pay him that.
Just saying. He went to Houston for a reason. You add that reason plus a couple million, and there's no reason for him not to be there. All right, let's wrap it real quick with your most highly owned player on Underdog.
Let's open it up.
How many drafts, by the way?
Completed?
Yeah.
Completed. I kind of screwed up and like I'm not going as quickly as I should. I'm at 54 completed. I'll give you highest owned player in the first 10 rounds. I don't know, like it's probably like a dumb position to take, but I always draft Kendrick Raphael. I just don't know what, like I hate every other player in that range, and I'm thinking to myself like this guy he feels very locked in for 200 plus touches in an offense that's going to score over 30 points a week.
So you're admitting to everyone that Kendrick Raphael is your highest owned player
in the first 10 rounds. Yeah,
I think that's fine. I have like 13%. I mean, you're right. They're going to score a lot of points. He feels like the guy. 2 years. I mean, we drafted the crap out of Derek McFall, hoping that he would be the guy because there's a lot of potential snaps there. And TJ Harden was awful and still finished like RB 35 or 40 or something like that. My highest owned is Ryan Wingo.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I know Camp Coleman is the receiver one in theory, but what if Ryan Wingo is the same? Like Ryan Wingo got like 25% of targets last year.
Do you draft him over Strong?
I think I have more. I have 16% Strong. So I've been trying to get Strong. Strong gets sniped in front of me. I think people like Strong more than Wingo.
You talked about him.
It is my fault. Yeah. I like Strong. Yeah. I have been grabbing Strong. I'm a little bit more too, like when I get Arch, I almost always take Wingo.
Yeah.
It's the same theory with Raphael. Like
do you draft him over Weska?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know the offense is going to be awesome. I don't know. Do you feel that great about Clemson?
Yeah. You're old enough. We're old enough to remember the heydays of Chad Morris offense.
Yeah.
How many times do you think they're going to run that stupid play where it's a fake to the running back, it's a fake to the receiver running behind, and then Wesco is running free 40 yards downfield, and it's a 70-yard touchdown. It's great.
I have 11% Wesco. It's not like I have nothing. You know, it's a weird spot because there's quarterbacks I like there too. So like I have to choose between, Hammond and some other quarterbacks that I like, maybe I want some Underwood there or something. And then like all the receivers, Wingo, Wesco. And I think I'm also very heavy Wingo early on and more Strong lately. So I don't know. It's a good spot to be in. I like all those guys.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that was the August episode. Premium users, check out our episode coming in the next week or two. Otherwise, hope you guys are enjoying the off season. We're almost there. And talk to you guys soon.
That was nice.